Hey guys, Chris here from Boxing Brothers Online Coaching, and today I'm going to take you through a quick tutorial as to how to wrap your hands. So first and foremost, you want to be prepared for your session. You want your wraps to look like this, rolled up, ready to go and be unraveled onto your hand, and not like this, tangled up, crinkled up and taking twice as long to apply. So make sure before your sessions, whenever you get free time, roll your wraps up so that you can unravel it onto your hands, and that's exactly how I'm going to be demonstrating it today. Okay, so we're going to grab the wrap and we're going to loop it through your thumb and over the top of your hand. Okay, and we're going to wrap it around the wrist a few times. 1, 2, 3, it doesn't have to be an exact number. Not too tight, just nice and firm. And you're going to work your way up the hand, and then you're going to cover the knuckles. I'm going over my knuckles, just clench your knuckles and have a look at them to make sure that they're not exposed. I'm going to go over the knuckles a couple of times. Then I'm going to wrap up and around my thumb. So when I go around the thumb, I'm coming from around and then back over the top again. Yeah? So I'm interlocking that thumb. Then I'll just, wherever the wrap wants to take me, I'll continue on the wrist, for example. And now I'm going to go through the fingers. So I'm going to come around over the top and on the outside of my pinky, on the outside of my pinky. So I'm wrapping it around and then through in between the pinky and the finger next to it, and then I'm going to cut back on the inside of the wrist and then around again just to interlock it where I went on the pinky, and then on the outside of the hand. Then I'm going to go to the next finger on the inside, and then I'm going to cut in between just like that, and then again interlock it, come from the inside just so that it holds down the intertwining between the fingers, and then I'll do the next finger and so forth in between that finger just like that, and then over, clenching that fist, and then of course the final finger like that, and then whatever wrap is left I'll use to interlock all of those finger intertwined finger wrapping just like that. Cover the knuckles so that holds it all together. You can see it's all gathered together. And then I'm going to finish on my wrist. Not too far down the wrist, just like so. And there you have it. All the fingers done, the knuckles, the wrist, the thumb, of course, really important part, the thumb, because it often sticks out. It's not too tight, it's nice and firm. In between each finger I've interlocked into the hand and then come back and finished on the wrist, and I've got a nice firm grip. I'm able to clench my hand. You want to make sure that as you're doing your wraps, clench and relax just to make sure that the tension of the wrap isn't actually stopping you from being able to clench your fist, and you should be good to go. It's going to take you a few tries to do it, guys, but keep persevering, and just with practice you'll get better and better. Now at the end of your session, when you've had a hard session, you've been sweating in your gloves for rounds and rounds and your wraps are disgusting and sweaty and smelly, don't wash them after every single session, because if you're training multiple times a week, you're going to go through wraps every few weeks. It's not necessary to be cleaning them all the time. Boxing is, generally speaking, a pretty unhygienic sport. It's hard to look after your gloves and keep things clean, so you've got to be pretty reasonable and sustainable when it comes to these things. You don't want to be wasting stuff and buying stuff all the time. So what I suggest to everybody is that if you want to avoid having to clean your wraps all the time, when you finish training, don't scrunch them up and shove them in your bag. Don't roll them back up straight away ready for your next session. Get your wraps and throw them over something. All right, so I always throw mine over at the clothesline if I'm at home, or somewhere they can hang in front of a window, whatever it may be, and let them air out. Once you've let them air out and you can feel that they're dry, you'll find that they won't stink, that they'll be ready for the next session. You won't need to wash them as often. Once they're dried, that's when you roll them up. All right, so don't wash them all the time. When you finish your training, throw them over something, let them air out completely, and then when you're ready to roll them up in the next session, they won't have any odor, they won't be disgusting, you'll be ready to go again, and you won't be going through wraps all the time. All right, so when it comes to rolling up your wraps, again, there's 101 ways to do these things. This is just how I do it, and I'm just transferring my experience and knowledge onto you guys. What I do is I get the wrap and make sure that the label, oftentimes, more often than not, is facing down. You'll figure that out with your wraps. The label's facing downwards, and then you just really tightly roll with the Velcro on the inside, forward, as tight as you possibly can. And then you grab it and roll it up and keep it nice and tight. And you can flatten out all of the crinkly bits as you go along, and they'll stay ironed out. So essentially you're ironing out the wrap as you're rolling it out, so that when you want to wrap it over your hand, it's nice and flat. And the process of wrapping your hands is a lot more efficient. You get it done quicker, and you're not having to try to flatten out all those crinkly bits as you're rolling your hands. Throwing them up and letting them hang over the clothesline will help straighten them out. That's another reason why you don't want to really wash them too often, because the washing machine just thrashes them as well and makes them really crinkly and wears them out really quickly. But if you just hang them up, you let them unravel on their own, you let them dry out as well, they're easily malleable, and then you roll them up like this, nice and tight. And again, this is something that you'll become more experienced at. At the beginning, all of this kind of stuff takes a very long time, but as time progresses, guys, just like anything else in life, you become more efficient at it, you become quicker at it. It's actually a little bit of a hand workout as well. You feel the muscles in your hands working. I've seen heaps of guys do this differently. Again, just reiterating, this is how I do it. I've even gone to a couple of gyms where they've got those little wind-up machines. They're awesome as well, but oftentimes you're doing that straight after your session, you know, so the wraps are still wet. But the best way is just to roll them up. You know, it's a little bit of time out as well. It's almost like a relaxing to a degree. I don't know. I find that to be so anyway. Then you wrap it up nice and tight, and you are ready to go for your next training session. Good stuff, guys. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it was informative. Remember to subscribe and share this with your friends, and I'll see you next time.